The human face is a masterpiece of deception, a canvas where we paint the illusions we wish the world to believe. But behind the brushstrokes of a curated smile lies a silent war between the conscious will to deceive and the subconscious biological urge to be known. Most people spend their entire lives blind to this conflict, wandering through a fog of social niceties and calculated falsehoods, never realizing that the truth is screaming at them from the twitch of a lip or the direction of a gaze. We are all participants in a grand masquerade, yet few of us possess the eyes to see the masks. To understand the anatomy of a lie is to possess a key to the human psyche that most would find terrifying. It is an elite burden, a shift in perception that ensures you will never look at a conversation the same way again. Imagine, for a moment, the year 1944. A high-ranking double agent sits in a dimly lit interrogation room. His life depends on a single narrative. He has rehearsed his story 1,000 times. His voice is steady, his eyes are fixed, and his logic is airtight. Yet the interrogator across from him isn't listening to the words. He is watching the blood flow in the agent's neck. He is counting the milliseconds it takes for the agent's pupils to constrict when a specific name is mentioned. The interrogator knows what you are about to learn, that the body is a traitor to the mind. Words are the tools of the ego, but the nervous system belongs to the truth. By the end of this journey, you will not just hear what people say, you will see the invisible architecture of their thoughts. But be warned, once you learn to see through the glass, you can never go back to the comfort of the reflection. Every interaction we have is governed by the law of cognitive friction. Lying is an expensive psychological tax. When a person speaks the truth, they are simply accessing a memory, a raw, unpolished data set stored in the temporal lobe. But to lie is to create. It requires the prefrontal cortex to construct a reality that does not exist while simultaneously suppressing the reality that does. This creates a leakage of energy. The brain is like a processor running too many programs at once. Eventually, the hardware begins to overheat, and that heat manifests as physical anomalies. We call these pacifying behaviors. When the mind is under the stress of a fabrication, the body seeks to soothe itself. You might see a hand drift toward the neck, a subtle shielding of the throat, or a finger tracing the line of an earlobe. This is the primate brain attempting to protect the carotid artery, a primal instinct triggered by the fear of being hunted. The secret to spotting a liar in 30 seconds isn't about looking for a single tell. It is about establishing a baseline and then hunting for the deviation. Most amateur observers make the mistake of assuming a lack of eye contact means a lie. In reality, a sophisticated deceiver will often overcompensate, locking eyes with you in an aggressive, predatory stare to ensure you are buying their story. They are monitoring your reaction, looking for the duping delight, that subtle, fleeting smirk that appears when they believe they have successfully manipulated your perception. It is a tiny spark of dopamine that leaks out because the ego cannot help but feel superior in its successful subversion of the truth. We will delve deeper into this predator's gaze shortly, for it is the hallmark of the most dangerous kind of deceiver. As we peel back the layers of human interaction, we find that the most profound lies are often hidden in the smallest units of expression, micro-expressions. These are involuntary facial movements that last only a fraction of a second, appearing and vanishing before the conscious mind can intercept them. They are the glitches in the matrix of human social performance. If you ask a question that strikes the core of a lie, you might see a flash of contempt, a slight raising of one side of the upper lip, or a flicker of fear in the widening of the whites of the eyes. These are the ghosts of the truth haunting the face of the liar. To the untrained eye, they are invisible. To the initiate, they are as loud as a gunshot in a silent room. But why do we lie? Philosophically, deception is the ultimate tool of the will to power. Friedrich Nietzsche suggested that truth is merely a set of metaphors we have forgotten are metaphors. In the realm of dark psychology, lying is the primary mechanism of boundary control. By withholding the truth, a person creates a power imbalance. They know something you do not, and in that vacuum of knowledge, they exert influence over your reality. However, this power is fragile. It relies entirely on your cooperation. The moment you stop listening to the words and start observing the rhythm of their breathing, the power shifts. The liar becomes the subject, and you become the surgeon. Consider the concept of verbal distancing. When the psyche is uncomfortable with a lie, it attempts to detach itself from the subject matter. A person telling the truth uses personal pronouns. They own their story. A liar often subconsciously removes themselves from the narrative. The car was moved instead of I moved the car. That woman instead of a name. It is a linguistic vanishing act. They are trying to scrub their fingerprints off the crime scene of their own sentence. This is the first layer of the final secret we are approaching. The realization that we don't just lie to others, we structure our entire identity to avoid the weight of our own shadows. There is a specific phenomenon known as the frozen frame. When a human being is being honest and expressive, their body moves in a fluid, asymmetrical harmony. Their gestures precede their words. But when a lie is being formulated, the body often becomes unnaturally still. The brain is diverting all its cooling power to the fabrication, leaving the limbs rigid. If someone is telling you a story of great emotional distress, but their hands are tucked under their thighs or shoved deep into their pockets, there is a disconnect between the theater of the voice and the reality of the physiology. The body is holding its breath. As the clock ticks toward that 30-second mark, you must look for the blink rate reset. Under normal conditions, we blink at a steady, rhythmic pace. When a person is confronted with a high-stakes question, their blink rate will often drop significantly as they focus intensely on the deception. Then, once the answer is delivered and they feel they are in the clear, the blink rate will spike, a rapid-fire release of nervous tension. It is the visual equivalent of a sigh of relief. If you see this rapid-fire blinking after a period of intense stillness, you are likely looking at the aftermath of a fabrication. We are moving closer to the core of this psychological labyrinth. Within the next few minutes, I will reveal the third eye technique, a method used by elite interrogators to force the truth out of a subject without saying a single word. But first, we must address the paralinguistic wall. This is not about what is said, but the music of the speech. A liar's pitch will often climb higher at the end of a sentence, turning a statement into a subconscious question. They are seeking your validation. They are asking, "Do you believe me?" without ever using the words. They might also employ the loop of redundancy, repeating your question back to you almost word for word to buy themselves the precious seconds needed to construct a plausible detour. "Did I take the money?" they ask. "No, I did not take the money." This is the sound of a mind stalling. A truthful person is often offended by the accusation and responds with an immediate, messy, and emotional no. A liar responds with a polished, formalized script. They are not defending their honor, they are defending their story. In the world of dark psychology, this is known as the scripted defense. It is a wall built of words, designed to keep the investigator out. But every wall has a crack, and that crack is usually found in the timing. True emotion is spontaneous. If someone is pretending to be angry, the facial expression often arrives after the words or with them. True anger begins in the face a split second before the voice finds its roar. If you see a delay, a moment where the person says they are outraged and then a beat later knits their eyebrows, you are watching an actor, not a victim. This temporal mismatch is one of the most reliable indicators of a manufactured persona. We must also discuss the gravity-defying sign. Our feet are the most honest part of our bodies because they are the furthest from our conscious control. While we focus on masking our faces, our feet often point towards where we truly want to be. If someone is engaged in a conversation with you, but their feet are angled toward the door, their subconscious has already left the room. They are in a state of cognitive departure. If you ask a difficult question and their feet tuck back under their chair, they are in a withdrawal response. They are literally trying to shrink away from the pressure of the interrogation. Now we reach the threshold of the third eye technique. This is a tactic of pure psychological dominance. If you suspect someone is lying, deliver your question and then, regardless of their answer, remain absolutely silent. Do not nod, do not frown. Simply look at the space between their eyebrows, the third eye. In the silence, the liar's cognitive friction will reach a breaking point. Human beings are hardwired to fill silence, and a liar, sensing that their first story didn't land, will begin to provide more detail to fill the vacuum. In these unsolicited details, the lie unravels. They will offer the over-explanation, providing specific names, dates, and times that were never asked for. The truth is simple. The lie is ornate. The more a person decorates their story, the